Hey guys, Nicholas here. Today I'm going to show you the map I've been working on for the last 1.5 years. It's called WormholeSystems, and you might have seen it already, right? Like I made posts on Reddit in the past or on the e-forum, and yeah, like maybe you actually used it before. In case you didn't, it's basically and just like a normal mapper, you can do everything you would expect from a mapper, right? But it also has like a bunch of extra nice features we are going to dive into in a bit. What you see right now on the screen is basically the maps overview page. This is the first thing you would see after logging in, basically. As you can see, I'm already logged in with my scanner. And today I want to show you how everything would basically look like if you just started out fresh, basically. The first thing we are going to do is to create a new map. In this case, I'm going to map Turner since I live there. And so I'm calling the map just Turner. Once I created it, we get like this little pop-up, which is basically a setup wizard that will guide us through the map creation. It will basically ask us for our permissions, for the Eve API, visibility and tracking preferences, and like if we are sharing our position with any other map users. So I'm just going to click next, and you can see the next screen is basically prompting for the permissions. In my case, since I'm already registered and used the mapper before, all the permissions are already set. So we can see they're green already. So I can just go next. And now I get prompted if I want to share my location with the map. I'm just going to enable this, and it will also automatically enable the tracking feature of the map. Click next, and I can see a little summary page where basically everything will be displayed, like what settings I chose, etc. Okay, once you're ready, you basically click Start Exploring, and you are in. You can already see the mapper already picked up my location. You can see it down there, like there's the Pilots tab where I see, okay, I'm in a anathema in Turner, and I even get a little S next to my name because I'm in a scanning ship, right? Like if there were multiple pilots on the map, they would get sorted by combat ships first, and scanners because, would receive less priority because are rarely interested in seeing where your scanners are, but more interested in where your combat ships are. But yeah, like as you can see here, the map is currently empty. We have a couple of pre-filled things. Like we can see we have eScout on the right, we have our ship history, the pilots list, and down there like raidable skyhooks for lava and ice, and a navigation tab for a watch list, route, and find. So since we are in Turner, like the first thing we are going to do is to add Turner to the map, which I can do by just right-clicking the map and say add solar system. Then I look for Turner and I can add it to the map. And we see already, okay, yeah, we are in the system. This is not the only way how you can add a system to the map, right? Like I can just right click here and say remove, and like up here directly search for Turner and then add it like this. Or like even cooler is if I'm already in a system that I want to add to the map, I can just right click basically anywhere on the map, right? Or like on the map bar and just say, okay, add this system to the map, and boom, it's there, right? Okay, since I live in Turner, I'm going to mark this system as my home system, which will basically make sure it won't be like it will not get removed from the map. And I can also like still move it around, but if I don't want to move it around, I can also say I want to pin the system. Okay, and like with that, when I click on Turner, I see I can get a couple of extra information now. Like now I have Turner selected. I see in the systems panel, okay, it's Turner, it's in Metropolis, and its sovereignty is Minamata Republic. And I also get like new information on my navigation tab. I can instantly see, okay, it's so that many jumps to the trade hubs. And if I click on the little jump icon, I can see, okay, what route it will actually take me to. For example, if I say I don't want to go through USPA, I could just click on the little X and it would basically ignore that system and give me an alternative route. But yeah, this is pretty much it for the navigation tab for now. Let's get to the mapping part. But before I start mapping the Turner, I want to show you the settings panel where most of the settings live. In case you missed it, I clicked on the top right here in the settings, and then I go to the settings page where I can configure a lot of stuff about the map. First of all, since I'm a solo mapper, I prefer the automatic system layout system, which basically will place all the systems that are on the map for me automatically, so I don't have to move them around the whole time. The next thing I want to do is basically give each system on the map a uniform width, right? I'm a very visual guy. I like if everything is tidy, right? So every system should have a uniform width. Otherwise, the systems would just shrink to fit its content, right? So a shorter system name would get a smaller node than a longer system name. Then the other settings on this page are not really relevant for us. Like we don't want our map to be public, right? We don't want a share link, and we definitely don't want to delete it for now. The next thing I'm gonna check is in the preferences tab, if everything is enabled how I like it. I want all kill mails on my map to be visible. I want to see thread levels. I want to see statics first in the signature type selector, so I can go next to mapping. Here's a couple of interesting things that I'm going to enable. First of all, I'm gonna enable alias suggestion. If you ever lived in wormhole space, you probably are familiar with this system. Basically, each wormhole gets a numeric alias, so you can basically just track where you are and what route you have to go to reach a certain wormhole. What more on that later? I'll explain it once we get to that. So I'm going to enable this, and the next thing I'm going to enable is the copy bookmark feature, which basically will copy the correct bookmark format into my clipboard once I jump a new connection. So I'm also going to enable it. And below here, you can already see that I can configure my bookmarking format that should get copied to my clipboard. So whatever your bookmarking system is, this thing should basically have you covered. The last thing I'm going to enable here is basically I want to add a system to my ignored list. In this case, it's going to be Jitter. Because like we all know it, sometimes somebody has the mapper open and then he's going to jump clone or dev clone to Jitter, and boom, you suddenly have a Jitter connection with them, right? Since this is like happens really frequently, I just add Jitter to the ignored system list, and then the tracker will ignore any like potential wormhole connections that go directly to Jitter, because like Jitter isn't possible to get a wormhole connection anyway, right? So just add it to the ignore list. Okay, cool. That sums up the mapping. Then, yeah, the next panel we could play around with is the access panel, which is like for our case, it's not really like relevant because like we're just going to map the whole on our own. But you can see you could basically add characters, alliances, and corporations with different access levels to the map, right? That's a really nice part about like WormholeSystems or like about the mapper is that it has a really, really flexible permission system. It doesn't care if you want to add a corp, an alliance, or like just a character, right? Like you're not bound to anything. You can add multiple alliances and corporations and characters all on the same map with different permissions, basically. But we are just not going to do this for now. The next thing we can look at is the routing settings. This is relevant for our autopilot, or like not really. Autopilot is the wrong word, but like wherever we display basically the distance between two systems, these settings will take. One thing I want to enable here is basically the ETH Scout data. I want to enable ETH Scout data to maybe get better connections by utilizing wormholes, right? Then I can also filter By mesh status, I only want to consider connections that are either fresh and reduced. So critical wormholes will get filtered out. And I want the shortest route, right? This basically reflects the in-game settings, right? You can have shorter, safer, and less secure, and it will exactly give you the same route as if you would set it in-game. Then the last thing we have in the settings page is the webhooks feature, and this is more like of an advanced thing, which allows you to set up Discord pings or similar alerts if you want to. For example, if let's say there's we have a 4-jump jitter hole on a map, then this thing could ping you on Discord that this happens, right? Like I can show that off. But for now, let's go back to the map. And now we see we have Turner on the top left because like now we switch to the automatic system layouting engine. Okay, I guess we just start mapping. Yeah, I switch over to Eve quick. And as you can see, like I'm prepared and I already scanned all the signatures that are in Turner. So I'm just going to copy those and then switch back over to my mapper and I can just paste them in. And you see like signatures pasted successfully. I just basically select the Turner, press Ctrl V and boom, now they're in. You see only wormholes are shown here because I basically disabled all the other site types, right? Like the only thing I display is uncategorized and wormhole, right? If I would enable like all sites, in case we don't have all sites, so that's maybe a bad example, but data sites, then we would see, okay, down at the bottom, there's a data site now, right? But in this case, I'm only interested in wormholes. Okay, and now we just get to the mapping part, right? Like we have everything scanned, we pasted the signatures in, and now we just start warping to each signature. I usually do it alphabetically, active. So it's easier in the mapper to just recognize what signature have I not done yet and what have I done yet and what I need to do next. And you can just have the same thing in-game. So I start off with DSY. And in this case, we're actually blessed because it seems like this is a good jitter connection. So I basically hit approach and jump the wormhole. And then we pray that it's actually a good jitter connection and not like a 12 jump or whatever. And it's actually a 6 jump. Very nice. Okay, now I bookmark this. In our case, I just bookmark it with a star. That basically means it's the return hole for us. Then I switch over to the mapper and I can see I instantly get asked, okay, which signature in Turner did I jump? I just, in this case, select DSY. I could select any other settings here, like the lifetime of this hole, the mass. And in this case, it was all fresh and healthy. And then I just click confirm. And we see the system has been added to the map. And even cooler, now when I go back in-game and I jump back the hole to Turner, I will automatically have the correct bookmark in my clipboard to bookmark the other side. I can just select create bookmark and then paste in and boom, I have like the correctly formatted bookmark name. And now I just do the same for the next one. Like I warp over to the next hole. Active. If we're lucky, this is the next hole is a wormhole hole, so I can show you how it behaves there too. But yeah, like you basically just do the same thing for each wormhole. And in this case, we are actually lucky, like twice, because first of all, it's a wormhole hole. And second of all, it has like a lifetime that's not healthy. So I'm going to show you how this behaves on the mapper too. Okay, once I jumped in here, I know this will be the one hole, like the number 1. So I mark it with a star and a 1. That's just our bookmarking system. Go back to the mapper and select the signature I jumped. And in this case, since I enabled this earlier in the settings, the mapper will also automatically suggest the alias for the system. In this case, the 1, right? Because it starts with the 1. And here I can select the lifetime that it's critical. And again, like once we did this, we can see the systems are automatically laid out. They are going to get inserted in the signatures panel, and the mass has already set to, or like the lifetime has already been set to EOL. So when I switch back to the game, I just jump the whole back. And again, like just by me hitting OK in the mapper, I automatically get the solar system, the bookmark name in my clipboard, so I can just paste it in and boom, done. And I'm just going to do the rest of the wormholes
active.
On my own now, and you can enjoy this time lapse. Okay, since we have finished mapping, let's get to a couple of other nice things about the map. First of all, you see I didn't fill out the type of the wormholes yet, but it's a really easy thing to do since like we have the systems mapped already. I will just get the suggestions that are even possible, right? Like in this case, it could be either the K160 or the B449 for a system, right? I'm not going to do it for all the systems now, right? But you get the idea. Another nice thing about, I forgot to show that off earlier, is that now since we have wormholes, we can actually see some of the jump distances changed here, right? So we can, for example, see the jitter is suddenly only 7 jumps away, and we can see once we click on it that it's via the wormhole into the HiSec here. And in case you didn't notice, when I hover here on the line, you can actually see on the left on the map what wormhole you have to get to that, right? Which is a really neat feature, I think. Yeah, speaking of like routes, what happens if we want not like know the distance to like one of the trade ups, but for example, a random system, then we could just click on the route button here and basically enter whatever systems we want. In this case, a couple of systems can be pre-filled. For example, the home system, or the location where we are. In this case, it's both Turner, right? That's why it shows up twice. And the pin systems of the watch list tab will also show up here. In this case, Jitter, Heck, and Ama are shown, right? But if we, for example, want to know the distance from Turner to 68 FT, for example, then we can just click it, like do it like this, and we see it's 24 jumps, and we get routed via, in this case, not even Turner. Oh, never mind. Like we take the wormhole in Turner to Dal, and then from Dal we go to Fera apparently, and take the Esoteria hole. Funnily enough, this brings up a really good point. If you remember earlier, we enabled the eScout plugin, so it will consider eScout holes in our route too. But if we don't want that, we can just click on the little cogwheel in the top right here, the autopilot settings, and disable eScout, and now it won't do it and just directly route us. In this case, we still take the dial hole, but we just go straight from there, and it increases by a lot. It's actually 40 jumps now. Cool. The next thing we have in the navigation tab, or like in the navigation panel, which is this window here, is the find area. And this allows us to find certain features in the universe that are close to us. In this case, like pre-filled, it's Jove observatories, which are basically super useful if you want to find drifter wormholes, because Drifter wormholes can only spawn in systems that have a Jove observatory. And you can see the list of systems that are in reach from our current location. But keep in mind, this will actually take wormholes into account too, right? For example, we see like we have a 2-jump connection, or like 2 jumps in branch will have a Jove observatory, and we can even click on the number here and see instantly what route we have to take, basically. There's a couple of other nice things we can filter for, like we can look for NPC stations, high sec, low sec, null sec, right? Or even certain station services. For example, what's really nice is like we can look for security officers as the station service, and this will basically give us all the Concord stations where we can buy sec status for tags, right? For example, Evati we see is the closest at the moment to Turner with 6 jumps through the dull hole again. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the navigation tab. Oh yeah, you can actually also like add a custom system to the watch list, right? If you are always interested in the distance to a certain system, then we can just add it. In this case, I'm just going to add Turner since we live there. So I can just click on any system on the map then and see how many jumps it is from Turner, factoring in all of the chain, right? Which is a really neat feature. Okay, then what do we discuss next? I feel like one of the coolest features here, and I dare to say so, it's probably the most... Ooh, something exploded in-game. I better dock up. Like the whole UI of WormholeSystems is fully customizable, right? Like if you, for example, say, oh, the signatures panel is too small, you just press the layout button and you can just resize it like this. And not only that, but you can even like completely rearrange the windows like this, right? So if you want to have it on the left, right, no problem, right? You can have it. Like it's like super customizable. And I don't know, I actually don't know if other mappers have like something comparable to this. But yeah, like if I don't want to keep the changes, I can just discard them, right? And I go back to normal. But yeah, another thing I completely like that's really cool about the layout is like you can also completely hide certain cards, right? For example, if since I'm solo, right? I'm not really interested in the pilots panel. I'm not really interested in the ship history. I don't need the activity because everything is going to be done by myself, right? So I'm able to free up a lot of space, right? Move cards around and claim it for other stuff. And it's even so smart that if a card is hidden, it won't even fetch the data from the server, right? So it basically also makes the map like faster to a degree if you just hide cards that you don't need, right? And then you can just save it. The cool thing about those layouts is it's per user scope, right? So it doesn't affect any other user of the map. You can just completely customize the map to your liking, and it won't affect any other user. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it about the layout. What else do we have? I guess one very important thing about the map is, about the mapper, is that it makes extensive use of the context menu. A context menu is basically a right-click menu, right? So you can basically click almost anywhere on the map bar and like get extra information or like extra actions you can perform. For example, on the watch list, right? You can add the system to the map, go to external, open it on Dotland, region map, the jump range map for the system, set kill board stuff, right? Then set destination in-game for your char at a waypoint, or like for this route planner, like the Wormhole system route planner, you can just say set it as origin or like as a destination over here, right? And yeah, like you see, you have it here on the watch list. You see it on Eve Scout. We have the same. We have the same for the skyhooks down here, and even for the pilots in our like even for kill mails in the kill mails tab, or pilots in the pilots tab, right? Like basically everything where you would expect you can right click. Another thing we have on the mapper itself is like there's a lot of interactivity hidden here. For example, you can click on the connection and basically get all the details we know about it, right? For example, the properties, how much mass it has, like even like how much people have jumped this connection already, right? Like we can see earlier when we mapped it, we jumped an anathema out and that anathema back in. Like we see when exactly it was and how much mass we estimate like put through, right? Which just makes it really straightforward to track the mass status of a wormhole. And yeah, a couple of other things that are nice, right? Like on each node, we can see the sovereignty. If we hover it, we get the information about it. Same for the wormhole statics, right? Like if you hover the statics, we get all the details about the statics. Yeah, in this case, on the Turner hole, since we pasted in 6, we get instant information. Okay, signatures have been pasted and there are 19 signatures. And even cooler, let's say there's another signature. I'm just going to edit here that is unscanned. You can even see here, okay, this icon turns red and we have one uncategorized signature. So you instantly know on a glance if there is something not mapped in the system. Similarly, to let's say here's a wormhole that has not been mapped, right? Like it doesn't have a connection assigned. We even get another icon here, see that says, okay, this system has one unmapped wormhole, right? That needs to be checked out. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I want to show you for now, right? Like there's tons of other little features in the mapper that like I can't possibly cover all of it, but if you want to give it a shot, like make sure to also check out the documentation, right? It's always reachable on the top here. You can just click it and then like basically every feature on the map is pretty much documented here. So if whenever you're lost or want to figure out if there's a better way of doing certain things, just go to the documentation and read about it, right? And yeah, like if you have any questions about the mapper or you want to self-host it, right, then feel free to hop on the Discord and just chat with me. Like I'm always helpful. Like I'm always happy to help you guys out, right? If you have any troubles or like just feedback or features just suggestions, just let me know. And yeah, that's pretty much it.